Yeah. Hello. Howdy doody. It's howdy doody time. Look at this. Well, you can't. Yes, we need me in there. That's it. Now do it. Do Yingling. Breakfast. Breakfast. Yeah. Oh God. Hello. Now, yeah. Brandon Trueblood is trying to broadcast here, but
Are you having a hard time getting over?
yeah.
No, I'm going 23 miles an hour up this hill.
Shit.
4 ways.
I mean, he dropped his phone on the floor, so he can't let me on. So
Hazards, right?
I gotta do my own stream. Oh my God.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, Brandon. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Slow moving motherfucker.
Okay. Now, meow. Let's go here and see what we can see. Now, here's the dealio. Here's the deal. What the mainstream media and what these activists want you to believe and me to believe is that we actually hate trans people. We want to end their existence as, I don't know, who was it? Matt Walsh or Knowles or somebody. No, it's really not the case. But they're going to say that because it, well, makes them bigger victims, I suppose. I have nothing against trans people. God bless you. Good luck. See, they're trying to conflate because that's what they're good at. They want to conflate things. Well, if this, thus, and such, then blah, blah, blah. Right? There are many of these bills, laws being passed in states that prevent children under the age of 18 from going through this stuff. Well, that's an attack on them, isn't it? Why is that? Well, we all have our ideas, don't we? We all have some thoughts on that particular topic. But suffice it to say that if you're 18 years of age or older, the age of majority, you're an adult, do whatever the hell you want. Good for you. Good luck. Have a day. Whatever you think you need to do, I hope it helps, and God bless you, and I hope everything's all right. So they're conflating children with adults. You see how that works? If you read a lot of headlines and whatever, it's always, wow, they're banning trans care. They rarely say for children. Somewhere down in the story, they eventually get there. But in the headline is, it's gender affirming care for the blah, 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 blah. Oh, yes, by the way, it's for children. Okay. Now in Missouri, they just apparently they're thinking about some rules, laws, whatever, that would ban that stuff among the children. Is that what the headline said? Fuck no, you got it, Johnny. Now, do any of we remember Nuance? Do we? Yeah. Banning this particular thing for children, where the country has agreed for hundreds of years to restrict children from certain things, such as drinking alcohol, smoking cigarettes, watching porn, driving a car, all kinds of shit. Because they're children. They don't understand. They don't have the fully developed brain cavity. And again, most adults don't either. We could have that discussion. Anyway, here is Dr. Sabin Hossenfelder. Let's see. This is cold, by the way. So I haven't listened to it yet. So we're going to listen to it together. Grab some popcorn. Let's go.
Should transgender teens transition? This rather personal question occupies a prominent place in the American culture war.
Yeah. Yes, Dr. Hossenfelder.
On the one side, you have people claiming that it's a socially contagious fad among the brainwashed woke who want to mutilate your innocent children. On the other side, there are those saying that it's saving the lives of minorities.
Yeah. See, there's some questions, right? But I think we all agree, and I'm sure Dr. Hossenfelder will get there eventually. Just leave the kids out of it, man. You know, that's it. Don't mess with the children. It's easy. Not that hard. You don't have to think about it. Let the kids decide when they become adults. Yeah. All right. Seems pretty straightforward. There doesn't seem to be a lot of reason for discussion. You're not 18. You don't get the juice. You don't get to swap your gender. Sorry. Wait till you're 18. What's the problem? Oh, you hate people. You're evil. Right.
Who've been forced to stay in the closet for too long. And then there are normal people like you and I who think both sides are crazy. And could someone please summarize?
Excuse me, Dr. Hossenfelder. You're kind of assuming a lot there, aren't you? Okay, well, for the time being, we'll go with we're normal.
The facts in simple words, which is what I'm here for. So what's going on? Is it true that the number of teenagers who identify as transgender is rising rapidly?
Yeah.
What's gender-affirming care? Does it work? And why are some countries like Sweden, Finland, and the UK rolling back gender-affirming treatments for children?
Yeah, well, that's fair questions. You know, have an adult discussion about this. So what is really going on here? 25% of kids in high school consider themselves trans today. How is that possible? How did that happen? Why weren't there? Well, here's the deal, though. See, it was right. There's always a fucking excuse. It's not that just it's not a brain worm or anything. It's not a trend. No.
That's what we'll talk about today.
Okay. Science without the
The
gobbledygook.
vast majority of
Very
humans
nice.
are born with an unambiguous biological sex that's either male or female. While there are some intersex conditions, they're rare. For the most part, biological sex in humans is fairly simple. People with XX chromosomes are biologically female, have ovaries, and grow breasts. People with XY chromosomes are biologically male, have
No. Dr. Tom, let's not go with the whole breast thing, because we get old and fat and it's like I got moves everywhere. But you're right. You come out with a penis, you come out with a vagina. Pretty much straightforward. That's kind of what you're born as. Go ahead.
have testicles and leave the toilet seat up. It's more difficult for some fish who can change their sex, but there are few fish among my subscribers. So with apologies to all fish who may be watching.
Oh my God. Did you get they are born with XY and then they leave the toilet seat up. Yeah. I always said that to my mother. Ooh, toilet seats up. Uh-huh. Well, you should put it down for the women. And it's like, well, don't you have hands? Put the toilet seat down yourself. God damn. Oh, it starts young. Let's go.
I'll leave this complication aside.
Yeah.
Gender identity is as difficult as sex is simple. Gender refers to our internal sense of being female, male, or something else.
I prefer to call it a personality, Dr. Hossenfelder. It's a personality. Everyone has one in the entire fucking world. So, go ahead.
As everything internal, it's subjective and hard to properly define. Gender identity comes about
Yes.
by a mix of genes, acquired biological traits, environmental and social factors, and cultural expectations.
Cultural expectations. Right. Yes.
When someone's perceived gender doesn't align with their biological sex, we've come to call them transgender.
Well, okay.
The other case, when sex aligns with gender, is often called cisgender. Transgender people may feel like they're trapped in the wrong body.
Or you could just call cisgender people normal. There's that option, isn't there? Yeah. Let's see who's in here. Hello, Psycho. Oh my God. Hello, Psycho. Long time. Eric Zombro is here. Hello. Mystery Man. Mystery Man. The K's of Fox. K's of Fox. Shark Dentures is here. All right. Green Lord. The whole gang. Divine Raridia. Yeah. Again, I'm not not slamming people who, as adults, feel that there's something a little wrong and maybe this will help them. God bless them. You know, I mean, if that's something, you know, they think is going to do the job, good. Good for you. As long as you're 18 or over and you're a full-ass adult. So it's pretty simple. I know. People trying to make it not simple, but it's pretty simple. You're 18, older. If you want to deal with this stuff, you think you want that, hey, good. Again, God bless. Good luck. But
not all, but some of them are distressed by this experience and develop what's called gender dysphoria, a recognized psychological condition which might severely limit their quality of life.
Did the doctor say us? What? I'm sorry. Let me just go. What did Dr. Hossenfelder say?
Recognized psychological condition.
It's in the DSM-V, is it? I thought they removed that. Maybe I'm wrong.
Develop what's called gender dysphoria, a recognized psychological condition which might severely limit their quality of life.
Well, it used to be recognized, doctor. Used to be. See, there's other movements going on in the background here at the same time. But I digress. Go on, Dr. Hossenfelder.
Some transgender people prefer not to draw a distinction between sex and gender and instead distinguish between their experienced gender and the assigned gender or the gender assigned at birth.
Here's the thing I think. For millions of years, there have been tomboys. You remember tomboys? They were the girls that wanted to do stuff with the dudes, you know, work on cars and ride motorcycles or whatever. No problem. No issue. Or if there were a boy or a young man who didn't want to play sports because he didn't like that. He didn't, whatever. People have different things. I mean, you have to, you know, go under the knife.
For the rest of this video, we'll do the same. Okay. Being transgender is neither new nor necessarily detrimental to mental health. It's just a not very common variation of normal human development.
These days, it's pretty common, actually. That's part of the problem. Go on.
Personally, I find it highly questionable there's such a thing as normal human development to begin with. Have you ever seen a normal human? I haven't. More seriously...
Well, I know she's trying to make a joke, but yeah, you're right. Yeah, we're all a little fucked up, aren't we?
Records of transgender people date back thousands of years. Several cultures, for example in India and Thailand, have communities of a third neutral gender.
Yes, and?
Unfortunately, transgender people have historically been stigmatized in many societies.
Okay.
Have been ridiculed, been targets of violence, and been forced to fit into the binary masculine-feminine pattern. Okay. In many places, this is still happening. And in some countries, such as Indonesia and Nigeria, being transgender is still illegal.
Okay. So eventually we're going to get around to the first world. What's going on here? Is there any particular stigma or discrimination because you don't fit into the binary? I don't think so. Go on.
The combination of social and physical challenges makes the lives of transgender people, especially young ones, difficult. A 2017 survey of 125,000 American high school students found that transgender students were much more likely to report having suffered sexual violence while on a date.
That's terrible. That's awful. And I think everyone who is a normal human being would agree that that's that's awful shit. 22.9% of trans kids experience sexual violence. That's horrible. So what are we going to do about that? How do we deal with that situation? I don't know.
A problem that affects more than 1 in 5, and about 1 in 3 reported having attempted suicide.
Okay.
That's more than 3 times higher than the suicide risk among cis women.
And again, that's a horrible situation. Any normal human being would say that's terrible. 33% of trans people are trying to kill themselves. It's not good. So what are we going to do? How do we fix this?
This is why, starting in the 1970s, the medical profession took steps to prevent psychological distress of transgender people, the Dutch leading the way.
Oh, Tim Elgato. It was your country. Oh my God.
This isn't a History Channel, so I won't go through all the twists and turns.
Okay.
Let me just tell you how gender dysphoria is defined today.
Okay.
Psychiatrists classify mental disorders using the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders.
DSM-5. Yes. Yes, dear.
DSM for short.
Why is that the Germans always talk like that? Like they have that thing now.
Its latest edition is the DSM-5-TR. That's the 2022 update. It specifies gender dysphoria in children as a marked incongruence between one's experienced or expressed gender and assigned gender of at least 6 months duration.
So a marked incongruence between one's experienced or expressed gender and assigned gender. See, I don't like the language. I don't like that. You're not assigned, you are. It's not assigned. They're taking up the mantle of this stuff, even in the DSM-5. Go on.
That is accompanied by a strong desire to be of the other gender, or an insistence that one is of the other gender, or some alternative gender different from one's assigned gender.
Okay, well, that's fine. Again, if you're 18 or older, who cares? It's your thing. Go for it. You're under 18. Sorry.
It must be associated with significant distress and at least 5 other symptoms.
Define significant distress. See, it's always in the definitions, Dr. Hossenfelder here. What does that mean? Tell me what that is. Significant. What does that mean? Go on.
Such as a strong preference for toys or clothes stereotypically used by the other gender.
You see, I'm sorry, doctor, that's bullshit. That is bullshit. Sorry, go ahead. So if a girl plays with Lincoln Logs, well, goddamn, she's a boy. No. You played with your sister's Easy Bake Oven hamster? Mm-hmm. Yes, I made cakes and everything in there. It was great. So that means you're a girl. No. No, I'm not.
Or a strong dislike of one's sexual anatomy. That's the diagnosis of gender dysphoria.
Okay.
Now let's talk about the self-identification as transgender. The share of people who identify as transgender in the developed world is typically around 0.5%.
Except among teens in the United States, where it's now 25%. Yep.
For example, in the 2021 UK government census, about 0.5% of people older than 16 answered no to the question of whether their gender is the same as their sex registered at birth.
Okay, 0.5%. 1 out of 200 people. Okay. All right. 1 out of 200. So that would be 199 of those people are not. Just saying.
The US Census Bureau did a similar survey in 2021 and saw 0.6% identifying as transgender.
Okay, so we're down around the 0 point something, 5-6%, less than a percent. So 1 out of 200, 1 out of 180 people. And we are to overturn the entire system that we live in. Because.
A 2021 census in Canada among people aged 15 and older saw 0.19% identify as transgender and 0.15% as non-binary.
Okay. So again, Canada is about the same. It seems reasonable that countries would trend about to the same sort of place, right? With people like this, right? Trans people. Okay. So far, so good.
Curiously, though, the fraction is considerably higher among teenagers than among adults.
Isn't that interesting? Son of a beeswax? Really? Oh, do tell, Dr. Hossenfelder. Tell us what's going on.
For example, last year, a survey from the Williams Institute at UCLA found that in the age group 13 to 17, the percentage of Americans who identify as transgender is about 1.4%, more than twice as high as that among adults. And while the percentage of adults that identify as transgender has remained roughly stable, that among teenagers has almost doubled from 2016 to 2021.
You don't say. Hey, Psycho, you do look like a Viking. That's what I'm saying.
It's a steep increase. In the United States, the number of gender clinics which treat children has grown from basically none to more than 100 in 15 years. Just like the wrinkles in my face, a good reminder that correlation is not causation.
She's funny. I like her.
According to data collected by the American health tech company Komodo Health for Reuters, the number of insured children aged 6 to 17 diagnosed with gender dysphoria in the US has increased from 15,000 in 2017 to 42,000 in 2021, so roughly a factor 2 to 3. About 6,000 of them are either on puberty blockers or undergoing hormone therapy. One expects the true numbers to be somewhat higher because they didn't count cases that were not covered by insurance, but it's probably not a huge difference. To put these numbers into context, there are about 25 million children in the US in that age group, which means we're talking about roughly 3 in 10,000 children who are taking medication for gender dysphoria.
1 in 10,000 children. Okay. All right. Yes.
So we may be looking at a steep increase, but the total numbers are small. Still, it's puzzling and not an exclusively American phenomenon either. The same has been observed in the UK, where the number of referrals to the British Gender Identity Development Service has increased by more than a factor of 20 from 2011 to 2020.
Now, here's the thing, though. The Tavistock Clinic got closed down. Oops.
It's also been seen in Sweden and in Canada and pretty much everywhere where they've collected numbers. Curiously enough, the big bulk of the increase comes from children assigned female at birth,
Really?
wishing to transition to male. This is weird because in earlier generations, the ratio was the other way around, or approximately equal. The same thing has been observed in the Netherlands.
Is it possible that the males weren't lying about it back in the day? Just saying.
Spain, in the UK, Canada, Sweden, and is also the case in the USA. Most of the increase in gender dysphoria reports comes from girls. Pretty much no one questions this. What's more controversial is the question whether the typical age of girls to report gender dysphoria is also changing, and if so, why? In 2018, the American
Good
physician
question.
Lisa Littman argued in a paper based on survey results among parents that the girls being referred to gender clinics in recent years are different from those of earlier generations.
Okay. Why are they different?
They show an onset of gender dysphoria during adolescence, but without prior symptoms, a combination that was previously basically unheard of.
Okay.
Littman dubbed it rapid onset of gender dysphoria and suggested that it's a case of social contagion. Adolescent girls get the idea from social media or their peers or both and come to believe they want to be men, hoping it'll improve their lives.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now we're getting somewhere, huh? Blocks and Bricks Gamer. I won't say what you wrote, but I understand your comment. I certainly do. Someone is playing tennis in the background. I have no idea. Zombro says Dr. Peterson had a great take on this. All right, let's listen to what does Zombro say? Claim both kids are trans. It's a 1 in 4,600 chance for one trans child. Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Banana is here. Hello, Banana. Banana in your tailpipe. Go.
Superficially, the hypothesis makes sense. According to data from the World Health Organization, adolescent girls are twice as likely as boys to suffer from mental health problems such as depression and anxiety,
Really?
so they're more likely to have a problem to solve in the first place. Littman speculates that girls that to have a problem
Hold on
health
a second.
problems such as adolescent girls makes sense. According to data from the World Health Organization, adolescent girls are twice as likely as boys to suffer from mental health problems such as depression and anxiety,
Wow.
so they're more likely to have a problem to solve in the first place. Littman speculates that girls that age are more vulnerable to social contagion than boys, though there's little evidence to back this up. Littman's paper was strongly criticized for not being a scientific study, but a collection of experience reports from parents.
Since when is that a problem? That's sorry.
The parents were recruited among frequent visitors to websites who are skeptical that transgender self-identification among teenagers is genuine. This means the sample is unlikely to be representative. Indeed, Littman herself writes in a paper that it's a descriptive exploratory study. She describes what those parents say. What to conclude from that is a different story. A paper that came out in August last year claimed to have found evidence for the absence of this rapid onset symptom. However, this paper was also strongly criticized for severe shortcomings.
Of course it was, because there are two different sets of rules going on. Doctor, the rules are this. If you support the narrative, it's good. If you don't support the narrative, it's bad. It's quite simple, right? What about those other papers that support it? Scientifically, oh my God, you hate people. You probably voted for Trump, didn't you? You evil son of a bitch, you Nazi. We live in a strange world. We do.
Such as, most importantly, for phrasing their survey questions in an ambiguous way and creative methods of interpreting their data. The brief summary of this controversy is that at the moment, there is no conclusive evidence neither for nor against the existence of rapid onset gender dysphoria, though it seems to be supported by anecdotal reports from doctors working in clinics who treat the children.
I mean, you could just look around as well, doctor. This shit just came out of nowhere. Just boom, everybody's transgender. There's got to be something to that, right? Now, I'm not saying, I don't know, I don't have the data. I'm not saying it's not true, but kind of makes me think a little hard about it. You know what I mean? It's like, now what happened? Like 20 years ago, or when was I in high school? 40 years ago. Not much of that. 40 years later, 25% of children in the United States now consider themselves trans. Odd that, isn't it?
The steep increase in the number of girls reporting gender dysphoria is, however, clearly evident in the data. Another issue that physicians have brought up is that many of the adolescent children assigned female at birth who are now presenting with gender dysphoria have other psychological problems too.
No shit. No shit. Wait a minute. Let's go back and listen to the doctor again. What do you say? Listen to this carefully.
Up is that many of the adolescent children assigned female at birth who are now presenting with gender dysphoria have other psychological problems too.
Mm-hmm. Well, call me fucking shocked.
So what happens to those children who are diagnosed with gender dysphoria? The treatment regime is called gender-affirming care.
Uh-huh.
It starts with the child adopting a new name and pronouns that fit their chosen gender. They begin to change their appearance and join groups that belong to that gender.
Mhm.
For example, if you want to be a girl, you join the physics club. At the age of 10 or so, they begin taking puberty blockers.
God, she's she's playing it straight, but she's dropping in some good ones there. Did you hear that?
The physics club.
Yeah.
At the age of 10 or so, they begin taking puberty blockers, which are drugs which prevent the onset of puberty and stop the development of secondary sexual characteristics,
Yes.
such as breasts,
Tits.
body
Yeah.
hair, or collections of sanitary pads from every possible brand in existence,
Oh, God.
which is what happened in our household. Puberty blockers are used to prevent the dysphoria from getting worse and also to give the children time to make up their mind.
Uh-huh. Well, they should be making up their mind at 18. Just saying.
The medication is typically given as injections, either monthly or every 3 months,
Oh,
or
no.
through an implant placed under the skin of the upper arm,
Great.
which needs to be replaced every 12 months. If the children and their parents wish to go forward, then at the age of 15 or so, they proceed with hormone therapy to induce puberty of the newly chosen gender.
I mean, you could call it hormone therapy, or you could, well, there's probably different words you could use to describe it. Go on.
This means those assigned male at birth take drugs to block testosterone and instead increase estrogen levels.
I see.
Those assigned female at birth instead suppress estrogen and take testosterone. At least in previous cohorts, most children who took puberty blockers continued with hormone therapy. According to estimates from the Netherlands, as much as 95%. Some of them might eventually choose surgery to reshape genitals and breasts or remove internal organs.
Now, of course, this is the obvious question when we're talking about these sort of topics. The claim is that gender is non-binary, yet everybody seems to want to transition to one of the two binaries. Isn't that interesting? Just, throwing it out there.
But surgeries are almost always delayed until adult age.
Good. That's where they should be.
They are basically unheard of in children and are very rare in teens. The American healthcare system isn't exactly known for being affordable, so you won't be surprised to hear that the costs for gender-affirming care in the US can be substantial.
Excuse me, Dr. Hossenfelder. It's just as affordable as all the taxes that are taken out of your paycheck in Germany. Except you don't have the first person paying the thing, do you? Government takes care of it, huh? So don't give me this bullshit. Oh, healthcare is better in Germany because it's free. There's nothing that is free, doctor. You know that. But go ahead, shit on the Americans. Why not?
Costs for hormone therapy are typically $100 to $200 a month, plus expenses for the doctor's visits and the counseling. Surgery starts at $3,000 to $10,000 for top surgery, whereas bottom surgery typically costs around $25,000.
Now, in case you don't know, top surgery is where healthy young women go in and get their tits cut off. In case you didn't know that. Just thought you should know.
And let's be clear that those innocent-sounding euphemisms mean they're cutting off parts of the anatomy that'll never come back.
Yeah.
This is only the cost for the surgery itself, not the care they'll need afterwards. There are no reliable numbers on the total cost, but experience reports that you find online say the total expenses for gender-affirming care can exceed $100,000 even with insurance coverage.
Now, do you remember what the evil Trump did, don't you, doctor? He said trans people couldn't go in the military. Why? Because he's a hater. He's a Nazi. Or government would be on the hook for all that money, wouldn't they? The taxpayer, I mean.
Okay, so some people are making a lot of money with this. Does it at least work? Puberty blockers work in the sense that they block puberty. Side effects include, but are not limited to, weight gain, headaches, reduced growth, and a significant decrease in bone density.
Yeah.
The effects of those drugs are often described as being reversible in the sense that normal development resumes once children stop taking them.
Let me say that's bullshit. Bullshit, right, doctor? Come on.
But this is a dangerous oversimplification.
Ah.
There are few long-term studies on people who have been taking puberty blockers.
You know why that is? Because this shit has only been happening for the last few years.
But those that exist show that bone density is unlikely to entirely recover, which means a lifelong increase of the risk to break bones. Other studies have suggested that taking puberty blockers increases the risk of heart problems and may result in genital underdevelopment or fertility complications.
Okay. Well, they're just going to get them whacked off anyway, aren't they? Or put on, whatever.
Though I have to warn you that at the moment, none of those studies are particularly conclusive because the sample sizes are small. On top of this comes the psychological problem that not entering puberty.
No, I totally agree, Banana. They're trying to destroy the tomboys. I always like hanging out with tomboys. They were fun. They were a good time. Aldwick is here. Hello. Yes. Let's see what's Sombro saying. Sombro, what are you saying? Did you send me those pictures yet? I'm still waiting. Okay, we'll continue with the good doctor here.
When all your peers do isn't easy to cope with either. In 2016, the American Food and Drug Administration ordered makers of puberty blockers to add a warning about mental health problems to the drug's label after they received several reports of suicidal thoughts in children who were taking them.
That's bad. So we don't want kids offing themselves. That's for sure. Go on.
So clearly you want to have a good reason to put your child through this. Unfortunately, the evidence that puberty blockers actually improve the mental health of children presenting with gender dysphoria
Let me guess. It don't.
is slim. Some studies have found a small benefit in the reduction of suicidal tendencies, but these studies didn't have control groups, so the benefit might have come simply from receiving a treatment and being cared for. Other studies have found that puberty blockers given to kids with severe and persistent gender dysphoria had no significant effect on thoughts of self-harm or body image.
Hey there.
Wouldn't that be the real problem that we should be addressing, is that these kids are thinking about doing themselves? Isn't that really the issue we should be talking about? I mean, imagine, and I'm sure some of you probably have been there. You're in the blossom of your life. You're a teenager. Your entire life is ahead of you. And all you can do is think about bad stuff. It's crazy. What are we doing about that, Joe Biden? Anything? No.
What are you up to today? Well, today is my day off, and I am going to be thoroughly enjoying
The UK's National Institute for Health did a systematic review of the literature in 2020 and found that the results of the reviewed studies were of very low certainty and that the studies suggest little change with puberty blockers from baseline to follow up.
Now, why aren't we hearing about these studies and this data on the mainstream media? Anyone want to take a guess? Anyone?
in gender dysphoria, mental health, and psychosocial impact. They also say that, quote, studies that found differences in outcomes could represent changes that are either of questionable clinical value or the studies themselves are not reliable, and changes could be due to confounding bias or chance.
Might be random. Okay.
End quote. Let's then look at hormone therapy that replaces the hormones of the assigned gender with that of the chosen gender.
Okay.
This is usually done at the age of 16 to 18 or so much later than the usual onset of puberty. When hormone therapy is later discontinued, some characteristics such as skin texture, muscle mass, and fat deposition are partly reversible. Others are not. Adam's apple protrusion, voice changes, male pattern baldness, and breast development are irreversible once developed.
Right.
Yeah, once your hair's gone, even estrogen won't make it come back. So
yeah. So it's really no surprise, is it, doctor, that they want to get these drugs into the kids as young as possible? Isn't that something?
Sorry, guys. The effects of hormone therapy on fertility are presently unclear. Does it benefit the well-being of transgender people? Just a few months ago, a team of American researchers published the results of a study on gender-affirming hormone therapy in adolescents. They followed 315 transgender and non-binary participants aged 12 to 20 for 2 years.
Okay.
In the abstract, they claim they found an increase in reported appearance congruence, that is, how well the participants felt their gender aligned with their appearance, positive affect, and life satisfaction. They also found a decrease of depression and anxiety symptoms. These decreases are statistically significant, but that doesn't mean they're large. Life satisfaction, for example, increased by 2.3 points per year on a 100-point scale, and depression scores decreased by 1.3 points per year on a 63-point scale. You might say that's better than nothing, but these numbers in and of themselves don't tell you anything because the study didn't have a control group.
Oh, no. They didn't have a control group. All right. So they don't have a... yeah, I think that's pretty much cardinal sin when you're doing research. You got to have a control group, isn't it? Isn't that the thing? I'm sure Jordan Peterson could come in here and tell us about it.
Many previous studies have found that life satisfaction in this age group on average declines, which makes you think they either had a non-representative sample to begin with, or the fact of being treated itself had a positive effect.
Or they could be cooking the books, doctor. They could be wanting to confirm their bias. Maybe.
If you look closer at their data, it also turns out that the researchers only saw the psychological improvements for anxiety, depression, and life satisfaction among those designed female at birth, but not among those designed male at birth.
Well. Isn't that interesting?
A fact that, interestingly enough, isn't mentioned in the abstract.
Of course it isn't. Now, I believe the good doctor here is saying this is pretty much all bullshit. But she's trying to point out scientifically, being a doctor, here's what we know, here's what they did, and here's why maybe it's not so good. But you're never going to hear that in the abstract. You're never going to hear it on fucking CNN. Because that's not the game. That's not the freaking goal. It's not the narrative. Yeah, Psycho says John Money. Ooh. That's where all this bullshit started. John Money. Maybe we should go through that video. That's some horrible shit. The poor kids that had to suffer through that. But hey, go ahead.
The authors speculate that the reason may be that they only followed the participants for 2 years, but it usually takes longer for trans girls to grow breasts of a decent size. So maybe it just takes longer for the benefits to become apparent. They also point out that social acceptance of trans women and trans men is different. Maybe that's the right explanation, or maybe not. As we've seen previously, young women on average suffer from more mental health problems than boys.
We got to go hear that again, don't we? Yes, we do.
different. Maybe that's the right explanation, or maybe not. As we've seen previously, young women on average suffer from more mental health problems than boys.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And the 2019 meta-analysis of 27 randomized placebo-controlled trials found that testosterone treatment is associated with a significant reduction in depressive symptoms in men.
Okay.
So maybe the hormones did it, but does it have anything to do with a gender transition? Another issue pointed out by Jesse Singal is that the variables analyzed in the paper are not those they'd said they'd analyze in the pre-registered protocol.
Okay, this is the New England Journal of Medicine. Pretty prestigious, right? They know what they're doing. They're all doctors and shit. The new highly touted study on hormones for trans doesn't tell us anything. Okay.
This means they had an opportunity to cherry pick their results, which
No.
makes their measure of statistical significance obsolete.
No. Nobody ever does that. No way. You're lying, doctor. You mean they only pick the results that push the narrative forward? Is that right? Oh, I just didn't think about that one.
I'm not saying that that's what they did, but since they
Mhm.
didn't adhere to the protocol, which
I'm not saying that,
they themselves pre-registered, it's a possibility that their results are just random noise. Another paper that is often presented by people favoring hormone treatment is one that was published in 2022 in the journal Pediatrics.
Okay.
They followed about 100 young Americans that were either transgender or non-binary,
Mhm.
or at least they tried.
At least they said they were non-binary. Because after all, I could say right now I'm non-binary. What are you going to do about it? Okay. Yeah, you didn't.
By the end of the trial, only 64 were left. So we're talking about a really small sample. About 2/3 of the participants began a therapy either with puberty blockers or gender-affirming hormones during the trial.
Okay.
The remainder served as a control group. The researchers observed 60% lower odds of depression and 73% lower odds of suicidal thoughts among youths who had initiated puberty blockers or hormone therapy compared with those who had not.
Okay.
They saw no effect for anxiety. In case that sounds good, here's the fine print. The mental health of those who were treated did not improve. What happened instead is that the mental health of those who were not treated got worse. And in the end, the untreated control group totaled 7 people.
Okay.
I know as a particle physicist, I may be used to unreasonably high standards of statistical significance and sample size,
Yeah.
but I'm not impressed.
Yeah. Seven people is probably not the. Well, it doesn't matter though, Doctor Hossenfelder. Doesn't matter. The narrative is what it is. Psycho says, "What are you drinking?" I've got Yingling Lager, made in Pennsylvania. You go, America. I also got some Sierra Nevada, also a very delicious beer from California. Okay, let's wrap this up with the doctor.
Aren't there any better studies? No, there are not. There are at present no high-quality studies that conclusively demonstrate these treatments are beneficial.
Does it matter, though, doctor? No. It doesn't fucking matter. What matters is the narrative. That's it. We're going to take this little and cherry pick this and do that. And see, you evil bastards. Why did you just, man? Look, we know what game we're in at this point. Nothing matters. The truth doesn't matter. Science doesn't mean shit if it doesn't support the narrative. They'll get a report like you just presented about a certain thing, and they're like, oh, these fucking people didn't do their study right. But these people did. See? They got the answer we wanted. All right. It's all bullshit.
The British National Health Service looked at this in 2020 and found evidence from 5 observational studies which suggest that gender-affirming hormones are likely to improve symptoms of gender dysphoria and may also improve depression, anxiety, quality of life, suicidality, and psychological functioning.
Now, let me just ask a real quick question. Let's assume that this is correct, that they get the hormones and their health improves or whatever. Good. We don't want kids, offing themselves. It's ridiculous. Could it be, I'm just throwing it out there, could it be that they feel better about themselves because people are paying attention to them? Just throwing it out as a possible thing.
But they point out that those studies didn't have control groups and that all results were of very low certainty.
Ooh, low certainty is not a good thing.
An often made comparison is that between transgender identity and left-handedness, which was recently popularized by the British comedian John Oliver. Until the 1970s or so, children were forced to learn to write with their right hand until it occurred to someone to just let them write as they wanted.
Okay, well, sure. Both of my hands work just fine. Oh, you're evil. Yes, I know.
Rather suddenly, a lot of people switched to writing with the other hand. This had nothing to do with social contagion. It was just that now they could be who they had wanted to be all along. You expect a similar thing to happen with transgender identification, that as it becomes socially more acceptable, you see more people being comfortable being who they really are.
Again, does it have anything to do with the extra attention people would get? Especially among the girls. Oh, you're evil.
And so the argument goes, no one would put themselves or their children through a gender transition if they didn't think it was really necessary. But for
I don't think so.
one thing, this doesn't explain why the gender ratio of those seeking treatment for gender dysphoria has suddenly changed. And also, as much as I like John Oliver, it's an extremely unfortunate comparison.
I'm sorry you like John Oliver. God. Oh my God.
You can switch a pen from one hand to the other and back within a few seconds and without lasting consequences. Puberty blockers and hormone therapies are not as easy to undo, and we don't understand the long-term consequences.
I mean, that is kind of hard though, really. If you're a right-handed person, it's really hard to write with your left hand. You can do it, but it's kind of tough. It's not easy because well, it was the nuns at Catholic school. They told me to write with my right hand. Oh no! Oh my God! It's the root of all my problems.
In summary, what I take away from the data is that the sudden increase in the number of teenagers identifying as transgender is both real and substantial. It's also clear that the demographic group is markedly shifting, now heavily skewed towards those assigned female at birth, many of which present with other mental health disorders. Evidence that those children would benefit from puberty blockers or hormone therapy is slim, with large uncertainties. The side effects can be substantial, and the long-term consequences are mostly unknown.
Well, excuse me, hamster. You're talking about all this confirmation bias, and you're playing something that agrees with you. Why don't you play something that doesn't agree with you and let them make their point? That's a good point.
Just exactly what is going on, no one really knows. But the reasonable expectation is that the current increase in reports of gender dysphoria is caused by a mixture of 2 causes. Young people are more comfortable being openly trans, and some of them erroneously believe they are trans because they've heard so much about it. I'd say that anyone who insists that one of those possibilities doesn't exist is pushing an agenda and shouldn't be taken seriously. The question is, how do you tell these 2 possibilities apart? This is currently unclear. And this is why countries like Sweden, Finland, and the UK are asking doctors to hold back with prescriptions. Because at the moment, they don't know how to deal with the sudden surge of girls presenting with gender dysphoria, and they don't want to do any harm. So, what do you think? Do you have children in that age group and are worried about them? Are you transgender and see the situation differently? Let me know in the comments. Gender dysphoria, like most questions of mental and physical health, is a sensitive topic. And if you're looking for information online, you sometimes don't want to leave a trail. Our sponsor, NordVPN, can help protect your privacy while you do your research. NordVPN is an app that you install on your phone or laptop.
Okay, we had the NordVPN.com. Go there. All right. So let's go to the other side here. Let's go back to an old favorite. Riley Dennis. Now, meow. This takes a little bit of explaining, so I might need another beer. Now, Riley Dennis. Riley Dennis was born a male and transitioned to a female some years ago. And now Riley, who is now identifying as a female, is a lesbian, likes girls. Okay. So now that we've set the stage, and I know you can't help staring at the Hooters at this moment over here. Let's hear from Riley. Bangkok. Now, as far as I know, Riley has not had the surgery. Riley is maybe he did. I don't know. It's been a few years since we talked about Riley. But go on.
Hey everyone! So right now I'm in Bangkok, Thailand, and I wanted to show you around some of the stuff I've been getting up to for the last week or two.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Good. Yeah. A little trip to Thailand. Yeah. Sounds good. Bet they have good food there, don't they?
Fiona have been having such a good time here that I just wanted to show you some of the stuff we were getting up to. But
me and Fiona. Again now, biological man transitioned to a female who is now a lesbian. I know. It's confusing, but hey, whatever. Riley was an adult. Riley can do what Riley wants to do. Okay?
First, I want to tell you about the Dollar Shave Club. The Dollar Shave Club's razors are the only ones that I've packed for this trip because...
Now, excuse me. Why do you... Why, Riley, I'm sorry. Why would you need a razor? You're a girl.
Because they're the only ones that I need. They're incredible. They leave my legs feeling super smooth, and I just really...
for your legs. Gotcha. And look, it's colored blue. That means it's cheaper. Oh, goody.
Like them. Plus, they have shave butter and a bunch of other like toiletry type things that are a travel size that are perfect for taking on a trip. They've got stuff for oral care, deodorant, and shower gel. So
do they have any beard stuff? I guess you don't need that, maybe.
I really can't recommend them enough. And if you go with Dollar Shave Club, it also means you never have to get a razor from one of those stores where they have like the super gendered aisles where there's like men's shaving stuff and women's shaving stuff.
Super gendered aisles. Oh my God. What are we going to do about that? Let me see now. Super gendered aisles. So they put all the women's stuff there in one place so the women can pick their shit up. And they put the man stuff in another place so the guys can go in and pick their shit up. Okay, super gendered.
I really can't recommend them enough. And if you go with Dollar Shave Club, it also means you never have to get a razor from one of those stores where they have like the super gendered aisles where there's like men's shaving stuff and women's shaving stuff.
God forbid. How did we ever survive to this point where they had all the female shit?
because they'll just send you a box every month with your replacement razors. And this razor is totally gender neutral, so it doesn't matter what your gender is.
It's gender neutral, everyone. Okay.
You just get one of these nice sturdy handles with the detachable heads, and you can get replacement cartridges sent to you every month. If you go to DollarShaveClub.com/Riley, you can get your starter set for only $5.
You can get it for $5. So there you go. Go to Dollar Shave Club and get your extra special gender neutral shavers.
Starter set comes with the weighted handle, a box of the cartridges, and a 3-ounce tube of their shave butter. After the starter set, the restock box ships regular size products at their regular price. So I just wanted to say a huge thank you to Dollar Shave Club for sponsoring this video, because
say, the butter is kind of banana. I know who I'm not getting. And we'll buy Jeremy's razors. Jeremy Boring. He's got razors and shit over there. Lord Black Eagle, hello. How are you? Engineer in Hickory Stripe Hat, hello. Just ran across Garth Brooks. Kiss Hard Luck Woman. Yeah. She's a hard luck woman. Where the hell is Easter Sunday? He could play that. Or Frankie. Frankie's probably lurking. Frankie, do you want to come in? I know. He's in New Zealand, so he's awake.
I love their product, and their sponsorship allows me to keep making videos like this. So if you'd like to try out that $5 starter set, you can go to DollarShaveClub.com/Riley. All right, let's go explore Thailand.
Okay. And that's apparently his girlfriend with the big hooters. All right, Thailand. Yeah.
The sun's going down.
Oh, for God's sake. I'm going to mute it. Yep. Right. Yep. Now, the way she's drinking out of that straw there, you think that shit, maybe Riley's a good fit. Who knows? Yeah. Oh, you're talking again. Okay. Well, let's hear that.
It's a cute little setup. Yes, I did. The empty spinach container thing.
Spinach potato thing. Yes. Yes.
You're so cute.
There we go again. Fucking music. All right. Well, you get the point. So there's Riley. Let me see if I can find another one from Riley. I'm sure there's something, right? Let's see here. YouTube. Let's see. Riley Dennis. There was that. Oh, God. There's so much more. So much more. Riley has 113,000 subscribers. Wow. Well, good for you. Good for you. Okay. Oh, okay. Let's try one of these here.
An official message from Medicare. Turning 65 comes with questions. Like, how do I enroll in Medicare?
I don't know.
What if I'm still working? Where do I start? Get your questions answered at Medicare.gov. Paid for.
These people must know I'm getting to that age where hey, hamster, you got to sign up for Medicare, damn it.
By the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Saying I'm old then.
For a long time, Democrats have been trying to win elections by appealing to centrists.
Okay, Riley. Go on.
To people who are undecided between voting for a Democrat or a Republican. This has pushed the Democratic Party to the center as they clamor for centrist votes. Meanwhile, the Republican Party...
Wait. I got to share it again because something done fucked up. Let's see here. Democrat Party. All right, go ahead. Is that showing? Yeah, there we go. Now we're cooking. Oh, hell yeah, Saunders. I get the senior discount. It's almost embarrassing. It's like, welcome to IHOP. Can I help you? Yeah, I'm old. Could I get the free pancake? Could I please get the free pancake? Hey, don't make fun of me, Saunders. You're going to be there soon enough. Goes really fast. All right, let's go back to Riley and see what's going on. Yeah.
Trying to win elections by appealing to centrists, to people who are undecided between voting for a Democrat or a Republican. This has pushed the Democratic Party to the center as they clamor for centrist votes. Meanwhile,
yes,
the Republican Party has been moving further and further to the right.
Of course, yeah, they're just a bunch of goddamn Nazis there, Riley. Don't you know? Haven't you gotten the memo?
Elections by galvanizing the most far right among them.
Yeah, that's exactly what. Yes.
Has led the entirety of American politics to lean to the right. Republicans win most of the elections, and then Democrats spend all their time trying to play nice with the Republicans so that they can continue to win centrist votes and not.
Yeah, you did notice the last election. 22, right? A few months ago. Republicans didn't win. But go on with your bullshit narrative, because reasons, and you're trans, so everybody, yay.
Not be seen as obstructionist. Republicans get their way, enacting policies that harm marginalized groups, and Democrats continue to lose.
What policies? Which ones are harming marginalized groups? We would like to know, Riley. So go ahead. Explain it. Explain it to us, stupid people.
There's a better way we the people the Democrats need to go after, not the mythical center who consistently fails to vote for Democrats. Because
you mean like a normal person, like a union worker, or firefighters, police, the normal constituency, the normal base of the Democrat Party. They just want a fair job, fair pay. They want to fix the schools. They want to do stuff like that. The normal people. Yeah. No.
Because the current way of looking at elections seems to assume the situation is like this. There are people on the left who vote Democrat, people on the right who vote Republican, and people in the middle who sometimes vote one way or another. You already
And
have the people on the left, so you need to reach for the people in the center. But
that's right. If you want to win, you got to go for the normal people. That's pretty fucking foundational. There's no discussion about that. It's pretty much you have to go to the center to get elected, both left and right. Go on.
that's not how it works. That's not how any of this works.
Really? Well, gee golly fucking whiz. Maybe you should work for the next candidate for president. Tell that person to do a certain thing because you're so fucking smart. Right?
In reality, millions of Americans don't even vote. In the midterms this year, only about 49% of eligible voters actually voted.
And who won in the midterms? Just wondering. You said the Republicans won, huh? No, they didn't. Did they?
The 2016 election, only about 60% of eligible voters voted. That's a huge pool of people to tap into.
And what's your solution, genius? Do tell us.
That means there's a fourth group you can reach for.
You found the magic formula, so you not say it here. You should sell it to a candidate, someone who's running for office. You should say, hey, I'm Riley J. Dennis. I'm really fucking smart. And I'm going to help you win this election because I got some really fucking good ideas that no one in the history of humanity has ever thought of. Well, you are special, Riley, aren't you?
Leftist non-voter. Recent elections have shown us that that group can be a much greater asset for winning elections than the centrist voter. Plus, then we get more leftists in office, which is better for our country as a whole. This year...
Well, that's your opinion. You're certainly welcome to it. I would have to disagree. I think that's a bad idea. But at this point in the history of the United States, it doesn't fucking matter who you vote for, Riley. Doesn't matter. It's them against us. See, the problem is you think you're with them, don't you? Oh, you're just such a special little girl.
Your leftist candidates beat out centrist incumbents all over the place. There was a blue wave led in no small part by leftists.
Now, didn't you just say Republicans were winning? Now, if there's nothing else with these folks on the left, give them a couple of minutes and they will contradict whatever they said 2 minutes ago. Let's go back and see if we can find that again, shall we?
Pushed the Democratic Party to the center as they clamor for centrist votes. Meanwhile, the Republican Party has been moving further and further to the right, winning elections by galvanizing the most far right among them. This
winning elections. Except for the last midterm. You just said they're winning elections, but they didn't win. So what am I missing? Riley, help me out here. We're on a live stream. Help me. I'm stupid and old.
Or another. You already have the people on the left, so you need to reach for the people in the center. But that's not how it works. That's not how any of this works.
Yes, it is exactly how it works, you stupid fuck. That's exactly how it works.
In reality, millions of Americans don't even vote. In the midterms this year, only about 49% of eligible voters actually voted.
And who won the midterms? Contradicting what you said 1 minute and 25 seconds ago.
2016 election, only about 60% of eligible voters voted. That's a huge pool of people to tap into. And that means there's a fourth group you can reach for, the leftist non-voter. Recent elections have shown us that that group can be a much greater asset for winning elections than the centrist voter. Plus,
except the Republicans didn't win in the last election. Just saying.
We get more leftists in office, which is better for our country as a whole. This year, leftist candidates beat out centrist incumbents all over the place.
And
there was a blue wave led in no small part by leftists. A perfect example of this is Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who beat out a centrist Democrat in the primaries and then beat her Republican opposition in the midterms.
AOC from New York fucking City. So hard for Democrats to win there. I don't know how she did it. It's amazing.
She's now headed to Congress along with a bunch of other progressives all over the country, not because she appealed to centrists, but because she appealed to leftist non-voters.
New York City, Riley.
Ones who felt the centrist candidates didn't represent them. So we need to stop trying to make the Democratic Party appeal to centrists. We tried that and it didn't work. For the last 2 years...
Actually, it did work, you stupid fuck. It worked quite well. Now, how do you remove yourself from reality as much as this person does? It was a blue wave, essentially, right? Last fall, last November. And yet, this person is sitting here telling us, what are you telling us?
Republicans have held the presidency, the Senate, and the House. And with Trump's new Supreme Court appointee, they essentially have control over the Supreme Court as well.
Oh, God. Well, you know, the Supreme Court's been that way for the last 250 fucking years. So now we should blow it all up, right?
Democrats,
figuratively. Come on now.
Past strategy hasn't worked, not even a little bit. So it's time to try something new. And that means leaning much further to the left. Get leftist voters excited to vote for a Democrat. Get some.
I mean, are you seriously? Now, I went through the Riley Dennis years a few years ago. And this was the kind of bullshit we had to sit and listen to from this person. Untethered to reality. Untethered to anything that actually is happening. Oh, God. Saunders, what the... Oh, God. All right. We'll just finish this one. Go ahead.
Some candidates running who are members of the DSA, the Democratic Socialists of America. Engage people who haven't voted in elections because they felt like no one represented them. There are millions of potential leftist voters out there. You just have to make them care. Give them a candidate they can really, truly believe in, who runs...
Mm-hmm. Right. I'm sorry. Oh, I'm looking up something. Go ahead.
Actual leftist policies. We've seen this working already in 2018, but even if you don't think it'll work, you might as well give it a try, because what we've been doing so far has obviously not worked. Like, this isn't a foolproof plan for every area in the country. Sometimes centrist candidates are going to win out, but there's a hunger in way more places than you'd expect for more leftist policies. People are tired of being screwed over by a terrible healthcare system, having a minimum wage so low they can't survive, and enduring nearly constant mass shootings. It's time for a change, and that means running leftist candidates at the national, state, and local levels. We need to...
I'm sorry, I can't do it. No. Now, back in the old days, ladies and gents, we also had this little sweetheart. Now, I actually feel bad about Milo Stewart. I do. Because, well, we'll talk about it here in a minute. Farrell Ravage, hello. Good evening. Good evening to you. Riley is worse than Lacey Green ever was, says Divine Ravage. Or no, wait, Divine whatever. Divine Rydia. Yeah, well, I mean, at least Lacey... I don't... Riley, Milo Stewart. Mm-hmm. Now, there's a long and kind of sad story with this one. But let's jump in here for just a little bit.
Sex toys than the average person. And they're not all at my apartment. A lot of them I keep at my partner's place. But let me just show you what I have. And yes.
Now. I feel bad about this because Milo was a confused little girl, okay? Somewhere in the mid 2010s, I guess. Just a little confused person. Didn't know some things. And so Milo, who was actually kind of a attractive young woman, decided to trans. And this is the result of that effort. I guess Milo now is identifying as a man. Okay.
I do have a pretty interesting storage method for my sex toys, but yes, I do keep my sex toys in a basket next to my bed. What about it? Hi all, it's Milo. So I think you'll understand how important sex toy education and accessibility is to the queer community.
I mean, you know, a serious question would be, who didn't love you, Milo? But what happened? What happened to you? Why did you think this was the way to go? I'm not saying, you know, hey, you were an adult. If you want to do this, good for you. God bless you. Who didn't show you the question? Who didn't show you love when you were a child? I don't know. again, if you if you want to look at Milo Stewart, 10 years ago, just an average, normal-looking girl. Now we have this. Go on.
If you went to college in a liberal-leaning urban area. At age 18, during my first week of college, the queer student organization on campus organized this event where upperclassmen gave freshmen a tour of the gayborhood with the option to visit a sex toy store, because there's always at least one in the gayborhood. So I got on the sex toy train early, but if you did not have the sex positive college experience that I had, that's okay, because I will be your guide on a tour around the sex toy industry with a special focus on how trans people use sex toys. I'm a non-binary person who takes testosterone, I have bottom growth that makes my
we never would have guessed, Milo. Wow.
Experience shopping for sex toys a little bit different. On top of that, I'm T for T and end up using a lot of toys on trans and non-binary people who I'm dating or having sex with. Basically, I have a lot of experiences navigating specific needs in the bedroom that cis people are likely to not have experience with. So while cis people might also benefit from watching this video, this guide is first and foremost to make.
I know. Oh, God. Guess we're going down memory lane today, huh? Oh, Milo. Good Lord. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Seedling. Ah, yeah. I'm trying to find her best look. Then again, she might be I don't know what she is. She might not be a...
talk about a specific proverb, and I'd be very surprised if you hadn't heard this proverb before, and it is, you can't love somebody else until you love yourself.
Now, of course, you can tell she's Canadian, eh? Yeah.
Or, if you can't love yourself, how in the hell are you going to love somebody else?
I mean, those glasses are kind of freaking me out there, Chief, but all right, man, whatever. Why don't you take over the show? I'm going to go get a beer.
So let's talk about this proverb, because I see it all the time. Google it, you'll find hundreds of Pinterest pins quoting it. There's memes that use it. One of the girls on The Bachelor this season had it tattooed on her. So it usually comes up in discussions of self-criticism. People seem to pass it on like it's just advice to love yourself. But it isn't simply telling us the importance of loving ourselves. It's telling us that in order to love someone else, we must love ourselves first. And that is what I take issue with. And so I'm going to tell you why. First reason is that some of our harshest criticisms are directed at ourselves already. So this is a result of a capitalist patriarchal society that convinces us that we're never good enough. We're told we're not beautiful or thin enough. That's why we need to buy the newest moisturizers, diet pills, concealers, etc.
I like your mic game, though, Seedling. The mic's working. It's good. In the headphones, it's really good.
Our bodies are too hairy, dimpled, stretch marked. And that's why we need these correcting oils and razors with 6 blades and facial wax and so on. So they're going to make, isn't that it's...
And I mean, she's not a bad-looking chick if you take off all the bullshit. Not enough, apparently.
Wrong to buy these things or wrong to feel the need to use them. The reason that we are conditioned to want to change our bodies, though, is because we're constantly and consistently told by advertisement and representations.
Now, I don't know about you guys, but that little lisp, I think it's kind of cute.
Media.
What?
That there is a correct way for bodies to look and exist. The reason many of us hate ourselves, at least our selves, is because it serves capitalism.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. She's a communist. In case you hadn't noticed.
It serves to keep us buying more things. But finding flaws in ourselves does not always translate to seeing flaws in others. So think about someone that you care about.
Yeah.
Their physical imperfections are simply part of them. It's actually pretty hard, at least for me, to look at someone I love and critique their body. I don't see my mom's wrinkles as something, needing to be filled in or erased. I just see laugh lines and the evidence of having lived a life.
I'm not disagreeing. Go ahead.
So the difference is when I have a bad acne flare up, I focus on it really intensely, and I hate looking in the mirror. I don't want to go outside or anyone to see me. But when, my sister or my boyfriend have pimples, it's just that. It's just pimples. It doesn't gross me out. I have no desire to cover it with makeup.
Doesn't gross me out. Fucking Canadians.
So while it's true that just as we see representations that convince us of how we are supposed to look, we also see what others are supposed to look like. But it seems, at least to me, much easier to direct those unrealistic expectations on oneself. It's much more difficult to look at someone that you care about and want them to go buy the newest products to fix their body. So that is the reason why I think you can love someone else, even if loving your physical self is still a struggle. So that's the physical self. But what about our mental selves? Can we love someone else even if we don't love ourselves mentally? I think yes. And I think that it's actually harmful to say that we can't. And that's because mental health plays a really huge role in our abilities to love ourselves.
I mean, that's the only part about Seedling is I could just fall asleep. It's not that what she said, a lot of what she says is right, but it's just, oh my God,
So I suffer from depression.
You're so relaxing, babe.
And when I was struggling the hardest with my depression, I felt unable to emotionally connect in a lot of ways.
Sure.
All of my emotions sort of felt like despair.
My emotions. Engineer and Hickory Stripe hat. I need 1132 ignition wrench over. Pooping while standing. Hello, Pooping. How are you? She's so unique. Look at the color of her hair. I know, right? She's special. She's all right. I mean, I don't get all worked up about Seedling, but
air and guilt. So to be told that my illness meant that I was also somehow not healthy enough to love my partner.
Now, have you noticed that a lot of, some things don't need to be said here on the YouTube, but there seems to be some connection between, let's say, therapy and some of the,
it's actually a very dangerous thing for a depressed person to internalize. Mental illness can make it hard to connect with other people. It's often very isolating, but loving someone and being loved in return, for me, felt like a small light in a seemingly never-ending dark tunnel.
Again, she's not terrible. I kind of like her. I even like the look. I know. Undead Chronic is going to say, "Wait a minute, is she a goth chick?" He's like, "Well, maybe, maybe." Share this tab. Okay, go ahead. Yeah. There we go. I mean, in another universe, Seedling would be all right. Yo, hey, Brandon, how you doing? Oh, is the Spear in here? Spearman's here as well. Hello. Anyone want to join in? Sure. Brandon, did you find your fucking phone, dude? I know it's not close to Jesus Saunders. I know that. What? Boom, boom, ba, da, 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 da. Thought I'd miss you. If she was normal, Ace, yeah. Jacqueline Glenn. Oh, she's got purple hair. Oh, Jackie. What are we doing?
Ooh. All right, guys. We're going to poke the bear today. Prepare yourself. The conversation around...
We're going to poke the bear. Okay. Go ahead, Jackie.
Dylan Mulvaney is not new, probably to most of you. If you're familiar with my channel, or if you are just on the internet at all, you've probably heard about the controversy, Bud Light.
I promise I'm not going to talk about her weird nail on her index finger. I will not do that. It's not what we're going to talk about here. Nothing about the nails on the index finger.
A lot to cover, so I might have to break this up into a few different videos, forgive me. But in case you are unfamiliar with who Dylan is, she is a trans...
Oh, Dylan Mulvaney. Oh, my God. Let me get a Bud Light. I'm craving a Bud Light and a large pepperoni pizza. What the? I don't know how it is in your neighborhood, but I go to Domino's, pizza. It's like $40 for a pizza. What? Now, Mr. Hamster makes pretty good money, but God damn it, $40 for a pizza? No, I'll eat peanut butter out of the jar. I don't need a pizza.
Transgender woman, and yes, I've already managed to piss off and alienate a large group of people by using she.
Come on now, Jackie. You're not going to piss anyone off. You're so cute. You're such a cutie.
And I will continue to use feminine pronouns. Just a warning in case anyone's literal head explodes. A lot of people dislike...
Yeah, see, here's the deal, Jackie. Nobody gives a shit. You want to call Dylan Mulvaney a girl? That's fine. Nobody cares. But I mean, whatever you believe in your head, these evil Republican Nazis are... I don't care. If Dylan wants to call up himself a girl, good. I don't give a fuck. I really don't.
Dylan, a lot of people love Dylan. It is very split. And there doesn't seem to be a lot of people in the middle, which is a common theme in a lot of these controversial topics. People who are more moderate are afraid to speak up. And right?
Oh, yeah. Of course. Yeah. Maybe the normal people in the middle just don't care. There's that option. I'm not saying people are taking that option, but there it is.
Now we're at a time where transgender ideology is being heavily debated. People are really all over the place on this topic, and there seems to be a lot of confusion. Sometimes there's just gray area when we talk about things like gender affirming care. Well, there's a spectrum of...
Well, we just talked about this. So, bans on transition care for young people spread across the USA. Young people. Jacqueline. Young people. No one cares if you're an adult, if you want to get transed up and have your dick cut off or your boobies, whatever. It's your business. Nobody gives a shit. Or very few people give a shit. We're talking about children, however. That's a different fucking story. Do you see the difference? Yeah? No.
What that could actually mean. So to say yes or no against something that has just so many different implications, and people say, do you support gender affirming care? You can't.
Yes, for adults who are 18 years of age or older. Sure.
Can't really give a yes or no answer. At least
I just gave you an answer. Yes, if you're fucking an adult. No problem. Nobody gives a shit. If you're a child, it's a different fucking story, Jackie. Do you see the difference between the two? Well, what about a 17-year-old? We can talk about the fucking hairy details. Bottom line, if you're an adult, you want to do whatever you want to do, do it. If you want to convince children who are not adults, then we have a problem. Okay. That's what these state legislatures are doing. They're saying no. Here in Missouri and other places around the country. No, you're not going to do that. You can do it when you're 18. We don't fucking care. Hands off. Have a good day. But when you're a child, no. Seems reasonable to me. But let's hear what Jackie has to say.
For some people, and that's okay, but it's still important to have a conversation. Why does this happen? Why are people...
What conversation do we have to have? Keep your goddamn fucking mitts off children. If you're 18, have your day. It's pretty cut and dried. It's pretty fucking binary, really. If you as an adult decide you want to do that, go. If you're not an adult, no. See? Adult, go. Underage, no. There you go. Argument settled. We're done. No?
Told it's too controversial, or why are people too afraid to even bring these things up? Well, because if you have any opposition, any pushback, even questions, you could be called anti-trans, transphobic, bigoted. But if you feel the opposite way, the other side will attack you, saying that you're not logical, you're anti-science, you're against God, which is...
Well, Jackie, we heard a lot about science over the last couple of years, haven't we? Follow that science. And so when the science doesn't agree with your point of view, then we should ignore it. Jackie, God almighty. She's probably a nice person, hang out and have some beers. It's probably fun, but Jesus.
It's very interesting, the religious aspect mixed with...
There's no religion. God damn it. It's common fucking sense, Jackie. If you're a full-grown ass adult, 18 plus, do what the fuck you want. If you're a child, no. Every one of us has been there. We've been in the teens. We got hair growing in places we didn't know, and our dicks are getting big, and the balls, and what. And women have their periods, and everything gets crazy. If you get to be 18 and you want to have your dick cut off and have a plastic vagina inserted, that's your business. Just that simple. Go on. Take over the show.
Anti-science. The irony in that is beautiful to me. Now, a lightning...
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Right. Queso te tacas, man. Hey, hola.
Hey, Hamster.
How you doing, man?
Oh, it's a good day.
It's a good day, man.
Yeah. I'm finally out of LA, man.
All right, man. Get out of the hood, get out of there, man.
When we were little, gender affirming care for these people was very simple. They put them in mental institutions where they belong.
Oh. Why are you so evil, Brandon? Why?
I don't know. I think it must be the diet of...
It's got to be the tacos you had in L.A., man. It's got to be that.
I did not have any tacos, but I had a huge burrito the size of my forearm.
And when you went to take a shit, did you blow up the bathroom again?
No.
Oh, God. Well,
I saw a great billboard the other day where they had...
did you?
It said, go ahead, eat the burrito. We have you covered. Roto-Rooter.
Oh, okay. That's pretty funny, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll take care of that problem for you. But I mean, the Super Bowl, you know that, right? Everybody eats burritos and takes shits. And the most important thing about the Super Bowl is you beat your wife up, because that's what we do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, bitch.
Every year.
What a bunch of fucking nonsense. Pharaoh Ravage says, Cheech. Are you smoking dog shit, man? Yeah.
Yeah, some Labrador.
I had to follow my dog around for like a week, man. With a little baggie,
It's a great album.
Oh, it's fucking Up in Smoke, man. That's a great movie. Maybe we should get MGTOW Outlaw to watch that one too.
Maybe, but it might be too much for him.
It's hard to go to. It's hard to go to YouTube and get those free movies. I don't know how the fuck I don't know how we do it, man. I don't know. All right, hold down the fort here. Let's play some more Jackie. I'm going to get some beer.
All right.
All right, you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Here comes Jacqueline Glenn.
Rod in all of this conversation is Dylan Mulvaney. And if you are unaware of who she is, she's very, very popular on TikTok.
Although
and now
Dylan's
literally
really a guy,
also on the
so it
news.
shouldn't
On
be
TikTok, Dylan has 10.8 million followers. Yeah, that's a lot. Now, I've spent a lot of time researching her and what she's about, which has led to me watching commentary video after commentary video after.
Hey guys, I'm Tom Baker, the founder of Mr. Black.
Yeah, the coffee
always
club.
Get asked, what is your favorite way to drink Mr. Black?
It's the world's best coffee liquor.
On the central coast of Australia, to answer that very question. Our favorite way to drink Mr. Black couldn't be any simpler. Just get a glass, a big lump of ice.
Oh man!
And then top it with Mr.
That's
Black.
sacrilege right there.
Imagine
If you've
like
got to
the
put
best cup of
anything
coffee you've ever had.
in your
Lovely,
liquor,
rich,
it's not good
decadent
liquor.
Coffee, mouth-filling.
Mr. Black coffee liquor. All right. Yeah. Did I miss anything? Did Jackie say anything interesting?
Oh, no, she was just like being annoying and.
Was she showing her tits?
No, she didn't even show her tits. She didn't even really, she's got on the black dress where you can't see any definition. She's all about the face. Who cares? Let's see some tatas, baby. Queso tatas. Queso tatas.
Hey, she was actually in like
tits.
She was in Playboy. So she did a shot there.
This girl was in Playboy?
Yeah. Yeah.
Huh. Well, good on her. I think she looks like a fucking witch.
What? Oh my God!
She's got the moon phases and
she's got the moons up here and everything.
Yeah. The purple hair.
But you'll notice the little bats here. You see that?
Yeah, the bats. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think she's got bats in her belfry, is what I think.
She's the vampire. She's a vampire.
Honestly, I'm really done. But here I am making one. But I will say it was hard to spend that much time watching all those videos. But it is just too damn much information to fit in one video. I swear I would be here for hours.
Now tell us, Brandon. Do you have any particular hate for Dylan Mulvaney? I don't.
No, I don't.
I don't care. Good for him, her, whatever. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At this point in time. So
I mean, I don't really think I'm wrong when I say, look, if you're an adult, I don't fucking care.
And the one thing I don't want is to have to pay for it.
Yeah.
Remember that Chelsea Manning thing?
Mm-hmm.
President Obama gave him, gender reassignment theory or surgery, and all those drugs while he was in prison for treason.
Yep.
People
Joel Simon's here. Hello, Joel.
Good afternoon, or it's good evening.
Say hi to Brandon Trueblood, the man, the legend.
Good evening, Brandon.
Good evening, Joel.
I'm just sitting here drinking a beer and pondering what the hell we all talking about. You got about 10 things on the table here tonight, hamster.
I know. I get in one of those moods.
But I'm fluent in all of those, so.
All right, well, go. What do you think about all this shit?
A bunch of bullshit.
Mm-hmm. Do expound.
I grew up during the Vietnam War and all this stuff, and these people are whining about having a hard day. Give me a freaking break. They don't know what a hard day is.
Yes, sir. When you're talking about military service, they have no idea.
Well, I'm just talking about life as a boomer. I mean, you want to talk about, being lost in the crowd. I mean, kids everywhere. I mean, when I was growing up, I mean, it was insane the amount of kids running around, and now these people are whining about this stuff and that stuff, and not having an identity and all this stuff. Nah, I don't buy it.
Timothy Sokol says Brandon just crawled through the Cohoney Pass. Is that true?
Yes, that's true.
Wow. You trucker, railroad guy?
Trucker.
Oh, okay. Well, I just hung up my spurs for the last time being a trucker. Going through the DOT physical stuff is a bunch of bullshit and maintain it, and I got other things to do, so I finally decided to go back to being a regular old driver.
Hey, Joel, are you trying to focus the camera on your ass? Could you clear that
Oh
up?
no, as my hand is over. My hand is actually over. I have the camera blocked out with tape, but my hand was over. But hey, that looks good.
It's all right. We understand. Yeah, we get it. Go ahead. Sorry.
But where were we? But
you were saying you hung up your spurs for being a truck driver.
Yeah, or I haven't driven, but I have to maintain the DOT, and I just said it's like, does she love me? Does she doesn't love me type thing one day, and I was staring at all the stuff I have to go through to maintain it, and I have to go in every year, and I just finally said, nah, it's not worth it. There's no value there for it. So
no, I think Brandon, you just jumped on the trucker train a year ago, maybe.
Well, it's not even a year. I haven't even been driving a year yet.
Oh boy, you're just a rookie.
Yeah, very much so.
So I was a diesel mechanic and all that stuff, and then I decided to get my CDL and go trucking in 2007, and I went off and on and worked through some temp agencies, and and then everything crashed, and these companies, they're crying for drivers, but if you didn't have 3 years, and they wouldn't talk to you, and then they come around after 2 years, then they started wanting to talk to you, and I said, get the hell out of here. You didn't talk to me before. Why you want to talk to me now? So I was kind of in and out, and drove, and I retired. I couldn't work that. I had to watch how much I made because I was retired, and if they followed Social Security, and if I made too much, I'd lose my pension for the year and all that stuff. So I'd work the busy season and stuff like that, and had a real good gig going for about 3 or 4 years. The corporate screwed it all up and changed everything, and so I haven't been on the road for 5 years, even though I had to maintain my DOT, and I'm to the point now I won't drive for anybody unless I go, this is the truck I want, this is how I want set up, spec'd out. If you can't do that, I don't want to talk to you. Screw it, it's not worth it. So
that's one of my streams. I stream every day from the road.
See, I've driven just about everything, but I'm a Volvo guy with the I-shift traction control. Even though I live in the birthplace of Freightliner, I worked on the line at Freightliner, and I worked on all that stuff. Once I got the hang.
Oh, you're up in you're in Portland? Is that where you are?
Yeah, Commie Central.
Yeah, I was up there. I was at that yard up in Portland at the Freightliner. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I worked there. Yeah, 40 some odd years ago, I worked at truck plant for a while. Yeah.
We are having a meetup near Portland this coming weekend on the 5th of May. There's a blacksmithing school up there, and we're having a MGTOW meetup at the blacksmithing school. Everybody's going to take a introduction to blacksmithing course.
Well, I like to do that stuff because I'm basically, I worked in heavy industry and worked with steel and all that stuff all my life. So blacksmithing is kind of, I like to watch those guys, so I'm familiar with what they do. I just, slap things together, weld it with 70-18 rod, call it a party.
Yeah. Well, do you watch Ike or Seriously Cast?
No.
His family runs that school, and that's where the meetup's going to be, and I'm going to be there.
Where's it at?
I couldn't tell you. It's some suburb of Portland.
Well, that could be within a 20-mile radius of where I live.
Yeah. I'll stay on the stream, but I'll have to look it up. Hang on.
Now, Spider Spectre says, is it common to cross the USA east to west on a job trucking? I think so. What do you guys say?
You can go long haul. You can go any old way you want to go. It's just what you want to do. I was regional, going long, probably in the old day, younger days, but I had I stay close to home. The one thing you don't want to do is you don't want to drive it. The East Coast, you don't want to haul into New York City. Stay out of New York City and Baltimore. Those big cities, go around them. You don't want to drop your loads in there. It's a royal pain in the freaking ass.
Why is that, Joel?
Just everything, the traffic and everything. New York City's the worst. But on the other hand, it can be fun. I talked about people. The funnest thing is driving a truck 65 feet long through 5 o'clock rush hour traffic and freaking people out. Yeah, it gets to be kind of fun when you're blocking traffic, knowing you're sitting there and the guy's backing in a loading dock and he's stretched clear across the street, and he's trying to snake it in there and all this stuff. And you think he's sweating bricks? No, that's fun. Because you wait for somebody to honk their horn, then you take even more time.
No, I know Brandon had some trouble in Las Vegas, so getting into
that was an interesting one. But the place is called Anvil. Anvil Forge. It's in Newburgh.
Oh yeah, that's west of me. That's way out west of me, about 30 miles. Yeah, Newburgh. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's where a bunch of us are going to be. There's going to be bacon.
I don't know if I'll drive out that far. Hey, there is a house there. Hoover's got Hoover's. There's a Hoover house there in Newburgh.
Well, I bet you that sucks.
Yeah, it's right there in the east end of town where the road splits. You go by. I guess you lived there for a while.
I've never been there before. I've only been to Portland one time. Never to Newburgh.
Oh. Yeah, Newburgh is west, way west. Yeah, you go through there and then you hit the coast mountain range, and then the next side's the beach. So it's way, way out there. It's about 30 miles or better, 35 miles from where I'm at.
Yep. Anyways, that's where the meetup's going to be.
I don't. That's too far.
I'm driving all the way across the country.
Yeah, I know. Well, I tell people they complain about 200-300 miles. I go, hell, I used to drive 600 miles plus a day. I go, 200 miles. I'm just checking to see if the oil temperature is warmed up at 200 miles.
Yep. So, anyways, last count, there was going to be 7 of us there.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Is Dak going to show up or not?
No, Dak won't be there.
How
Dak's
about the
really sick
Prince
right now? He just got out of the hospital last week.
Yeah, I know. Well, yeah, this is I'm showing the video here, so this is a new one with the Prince of Canada there, the Emperor. You guys want to hear it?
Sure.
Why not?
Climate change, and this is not actually like that.
Oh, that one. Okay, well, yeah. We're gonna do a bunch of your videos right away here for the guys, because there's a bunch of stuff we want to show you, man. There's some cool shit you got going.
The Emperor of Canada.
Yeah, I really want to push Chris's channel, the Emperor of Freedom, man. He's doing some really good shit over there. It's really awesome. So since your Chris Mitchell channel has, a couple strikes.
The discount Justin Trudeau in Canada. That's what we're the pizza guy. Yeah, he's a good man. Well, Dak looks all right though. I mean, he looks healthy. What's his problem? Does he have heart problems or what's the deal?
Yeah, he had heart problems. They've been working on getting him on the right medicine, and it's been an ordeal for him.
Now he needs to take those cigarettes and not smoke them anymore. That's bad for you. So, and he should buy another something other than a Dodge Just saying.
It's already.
I
don't know.
Back to back, baby.
I don't know how long they'll last. But this one that you
I got me a 225 slant 6A in Canada A.
Right here, this could be a good one, man. This could be a real game changer for you.
It could be a big rip roaring fucking rage. Let's do it.
Anyway, because the videos are just fantastic. But we'll play a bunch for the guys here. I just want to go over a Trudeau thing. Schlitz Malt Liquor, thank you, brother. Appreciate it, man. $5 super chat from Schlitz.
Dak's a really good guy. I just he's a lot of fun to be around, and I think we're all praying for him. You know, make sure he gets as better as he can. You know,
right?
Yeah.
And what's Peter Parker's boss's name? You remember?
No.
Yeah. Well, he's got the Peter Parker boss's haircut too.
Well, he's got that porn stash going on too. So
yeah, the porn stash, two-tone porn stash.
Yep. All right, guys. 12:30. I'm gonna check out. You guys have fun. Have a great night.
Night, Rodent.
All right. We'll see you later.
10-4. See you later. Bye.
Bye.